Hello everyone, welcome back to Disney 101. So this video is basically just going to be me talking about seasonal movies that I think everyone should watch. So a lot of you know that fall's rolling around pretty quickly, as it usually does when we hit September. But lately I've been really feeling this fall theme. I'm really excited for Halloween to come. I'm excited for just holidays in general, especially after all this quarantine thing. Like now that we can sort of see our families again and we can just gather around and kind of celebrate. I'm really excited for Halloween coming up. There's a lot of TV shows Halloween themed coming up very soon, and that I'm super excited about, like Halloween Baking Championship. If you don't watch that, go watch it. There's Halloween Wars. There's so many awesome TV shows out there that you can watch that are Halloween based, but because this is a Disney Channel, I do want to talk about some movies before we hit fall. So although we have a few more weeks of summer, I want to name some summer movies that you need, some summer Disney movies that you need to watch before the summer's over. And if you really want the summer back and you really want to have this summer feel for a while, if you're a big summer person, I have a few movies that I recommend to you to kind of give you that summer feel again, even though it's, hitting low 70s nowadays here in Rhode Island. So before the summer's over, I think all of you should watch these movies because they're very summery themed or very vacation feel to them. So the first one is Moana. If you haven't watched that, go watch it. It's just an amazing movie in general, but it takes place in this beautiful, island, and it kind of feels like Hawaii, and it's so beautiful there. And, just following her with her path, it really feels like a vacation, and it feels adventurous, just like a vacation would, just like summer is, because most people's summers aren't planned and they're all, vacation-y and you kind of spontaneous. So I don't really think Moana really sheds that light on summer, so that's a really great film. Little Mermaid, it's a very beachy sort of feel to it, obviously, because it takes place in the ocean. But there's a lot of, ocean-y themed songs, like Under the Sea, and, where Eric lives, he lives right on the water. So if you want to, kind of be at the beach while watching it from your house, Little Mermaid's a great choice. The Parent Trap. I like the newer version better with Lindsay Lohan. I think it's really funny. That takes place at a summer camp with two identical twin sisters. Don't even know they're identical twin sisters. They come from two different places and they have to, then they switch places to kind of see what, their mom is like and what their dad is like. And so that's just a great summer movie, if you want to go back to childhood and you want to think, about summer camp and, all the fun things of summer camp with kids. The next movie is Goofy Movie. The plot of this one is basically Goofy takes his son Max on a summer vacation. Even though Max does not want to go, Goofy really wants to take him because his dad used to do that with him, go fishing and take him to all these weird places that Max does not like to go to. But it's a really fun adventure, and even though there are some, life lessons to learn in this movie about lying and honesty, it's a really good movie, and it really brings out the theme of summer with fishing and camping and doing all these fun things that you don't think are going to be fun, but, being with your family is the most important part. Another movie is Lilo and Stitch. Of course, it's a summer movie. It's awesome. I love that movie. The plot is so cute, and even though, Stitch is an alien, and that's, when I think of summer, I don't think of Alien, but, it takes place in a very beachy place and it's really beautiful. And, I really think Lilo and Stitch remind me of summer. I think that's the first movie that pops into my head, especially when Stitch wears, the bikini on his head. I always think of that scene and that reminds me of summer. So that's a really cute movie as well. I'm going to name a few Disney Channel movies original movies that really remind me of summer. So Camp Rock and Camp Rock Final Jam, those are both take place at a summer camp, obviously, like musical summer camps. And again, they kind of remind you of what summer camp is like, and how you meet new people and you kind of get slapped by people, and it just reminds you of being a kid. And, there is a lot of drama to it, but it's really good. The music's great. I love the soundtrack. But yeah, that definitely gives me like a summer camp. If you're gonna pick a summer camp movie, Camp Rock's the way to go with that. Then High School Musical 2, that takes place in summer after they go to school and they all know each other now, and they all get jobs at this place that Sharpay's parents, like sort of co-own or are huge members part of. And there's lots of drama in that one too, but it reminds you of summer. There's pools, there's sunshine, they're in Albuquerque. It's quite beautiful, and golf courses are gorgeous, and it's a perfect summer movie. The last summer movie that, I could really think of was Teen Beach Movie and, Teen Beach Movie 2. The two main characters, are about to go to school, head to school again for their senior year, but then decide, to watch this movie together during a storm, and they go surfing, because it's the last day before school starts, and they get caught in a movie, and it's Teen Beach Movie, and it's all about bikers versus surfers, and that's a completely perfect summer movie. So those are my summer recommendations. If you want to cap off your summer in a perfect way, those movies will really inspire you. And of course, I'm just gonna add in these movies because that's my favorite. Toy Story 4 and Toy Story are two perfectly great summer movies. Toy Story 4 is probably the most popular one because it's so new. That one takes place with, Bonnie and her family going on a road trip before school, after kindergarten orientation. I had to remember for a second. I remember it wasn't quite summer yet. And it's kind of just like her getaway before she has to realize that she has to, grow up and go to kindergarten. And that's a really cute summer, ending summer movie. And now I'm going to talk about fall movies because I love fall movies and Disney has quite a lot of them. So I'll talk about like the Halloween themed ones after I just mentioned the fall ones because of course, hopefully all of you know these Halloween movies that I will mention, because if you haven't seen them, I don't know what you watch in the fall. So I'm going to start with Brother Bear. Most of you probably are like, what is that movie? It's a great movie. I can't even say anything about the plot because it's so amazing. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I used to love that film when I was a kid. It's very fall themed. Lots of the scenes have the bears walking through leaves, and you can see the seasons changing as the movie goes on, and it changes to fall, and they did really good on animating the leaves like blowing in the wind. It's very graceful, and it's amazing to watch. It's a very fall themed movie, and I think that should be the first one you watch after you watch all the summer movies I recommended. Pocahontas is definitely sort of the same thing as Brother Bear, a lot of wind themed and leaves, changing colors, and how that represents what she's going through and what's happening with her. And that movie is very fall themed, just like Brother Bear in that same way. So that's another good film. Not one of my favorites, but Pocahontas is a really good film if you're looking for an interesting plot line, a little bit of singing involved, and that fall theme that I'm talking about. Christopher Robin, or like any Winnie the Pooh film that you ever watch, there's always some fall aspect to it. Christopher Robin especially because it takes place in the fall. And it's just really great because the way they animated it is so beautiful because it is new, and it's like that in a lot of Winnie the Pooh movies where there's always leaves falling and there's always leaves on the ground, and it kind of shows like the comfort that Christopher Robin shares with, Winnie the Pooh and everybody else, because, when they fall or land on something, they always land on a huge pile of leaves, and these leaves protect them. And I'm reading into that a lot, but they have lots of fall-themed ideas in there, especially with wind blowing leaves away. And if you watch that movie, and after you watch it a few times, you can kind of tell what the wind and the leaves, what, like specific scenes where they have you know, the wind picking up the leaves. You can sort of read into foreshadowing with that. You can sort of read into what's really happening in that person's mind. And that's something great about that film, because Disney, you know, never just has coincidences. There's always these beautiful details that foreshadow things or kind of convey, you know, a character's thoughts or, you know, concerns with anything. So those are the most fall-themed films, and I'm going to talk about Halloween films, of course, because Halloween is one of my favorite holidays because I think it's so much fun. I mean, if you don't like Halloween, why? Please tell me why. I'd love to know why. But of course, I'm going to say The Nightmare Before Christmas. I personally think that Nightmare Before Christmas can be an anytime sort of movie. I've watched it summer, fall, spring, winter. I've watched it whenever. But there's been lots of debate whether it's a Halloween film or a Christmas film. It's both. It's everything. You can watch it whenever, but I'm going to recommend it for fall because it is somewhat of a Halloween movie because I live in Halloween Town. Makes sense, right? So Nightmare Before Christmas is a great fall-themed film, especially if you want to get in the spirit of Halloween, obviously because their whole town is Halloween Town. So it really, you know, the very first scene when they sing that pumpkin song, I forget what it's called. I feel really bad. I don't forget what it's called, but pumpkin scene where they have, you know, Jack being crowned the Pumpkin King and everything like that. It really captures fall. There's leaves everywhere. There's pumpkins everywhere. There's spooky little scary things everywhere, and it perfectly encapsulates what fall is to me. I don't know what fall is to everyone else, but when I think of fall, I think of the very beginning of Night Before Christmas. So please at least watch that opening scene, and hopefully that'll hook you into watching the entire film because it's so amazing. A few other movies. Coco is very fall themed because of the Dia de los Muertos, you know, the Day of the Dead, that they celebrate in that movie. It's a very cute film. It's a very fall themed film. And of course, that's their own holiday, and it's awesome. It's really cool to see what other cultures celebrate, and you know, this celebration is super awesome to watch, and it's just so cool to be guided through his life, you know, as a young boy, you know, and just how he wants to play music so bad, and his family, you know, bans it because of their whole storyline, and it's just really great, and it's very fall themed. I think it's very Halloweenish themed. If you're not familiar with the Day of the Dead, it's very Halloweenish themed. So that's, you know, a good week or two before Halloween. Of course, I've already watched it in the summer, so it doesn't really matter when you watch it. But if you're ready to feel the Halloween feel, definitely watch that movie too. These are two well-known movies, Halloween movies, that are specifically for Halloween. Of course, watch them whenever, like I do. Hocus Pocus. Hopefully all of you have heard of that. Hocus Pocus is an amazing film. Obviously, it's about the three witches and their whole story in the past, and you know, they bring it back to life, and it's so funny. It's comical. It's a little spooky. I'm gonna tell you, it's a little spooky, but it's super awesome, and I love it. And then Halloween Town. I actually used to be scared of the Halloween Town movies when I was a kid because they are a little spooky. But again, Halloween, it's Halloween Town, and it's super awesome. I love both of those Halloween films, Hocus Pocus and Halloween Town. They very much give you that Halloween vibe. I think they both take place on Halloween night anyways, so obviously that's why they kind of give you that vibe, but both movies are really great. So before you go watch all these fall movies, start with some summer movies just to, you know, kind of end your summer right, and then start up these fall movies, and then once we get around to Halloween, definitely watch these Halloween movies. And once we hit November, you know I will be making a video about all the amazing Christmas movies that I like to watch around Christmas time. So everyone enjoy the rest of your summer, and then get into these fall movies. They're amazing. I love the fall. Fall is one of my favorite seasons. So enjoy the rest of your summer. Go watch some summer movies that I just mentioned. And then once you feel like you're ready to have your summer end, watch some fall Disney movies to cheer you up.